They won't love you the way you love them. They'll forget what you did, faster than you forget how much it cost you. They'll judge your silence, but never notice your restraint. And the truth? Most people won't give you what you give them. Not because they're evil, not because you're unworthy, but because people are self-centered, distracted, inconsistent. And if you don't learn how to see them clearly, you'll keep twisting yourself to fit their lack of depth, their emotional availability, their convenience. And here's the silent tragedy. The more you expect from them, the less you respect yourself. But what if you stopped being shocked by people? What if you accepted that some won't care, some won't stay, some won't show up, and that's not your burden to carry? That's what the Stoics practiced. Not bitterness, not cynicism, but clarity. Because when you stop needing people to be different, you start becoming different. You start living free. So stay with me, because in this video, I'll walk you through 10 harsh truths about people that hurt to accept, but set you free when you do. And by the end, you'll understand what the Stoics knew. Peace doesn't come from trusting people. It comes from trusting your ability to handle them. This video isn't about making you suspicious. It's not about trust issues. And it's definitely not about turning cold. It's about opening your eyes without closing your heart. Because let's be honest, you've been hurt. Not always by bad people, but by expectations that were never grounded in reality. You assumed they'd be loyal. You assumed they'd care like you did. You assumed silence meant safety. But over time, you learn the hard way. Some people don't change. They just get better at hiding who they are. That's why we need this video, not to become bitter, but to become bulletproof. Today, I'll share with you 10 harsh truths about people that Stoic thinkers have known for centuries, truths that help you protect your peace, move smarter, and stop confusing kindness with weakness. And at the end, I'll give you one mindset that helped me stop over-explaining, over-giving, and overstaying in places I was never seen clearly. This won't be easy. Some truths might sting, but if you stay with me, you'll walk away less surprised, less dependent, and far more powerful. Let's begin. Meet Jake. Jake's not naive. He reads people well. He's calm, generous, thoughtful. But here's what always wrecks him. He expects people to be like him. If he checks in on you when you're quiet, he expects you to do the same. If he tells the truth, he expects you to be honest too. If he stays loyal, he assumes that means something. And every time, he ends up shocked, hurt, exhausted. He says things like, "I would have never done that to them. I thought we were closer than that. I don't understand how they could just..." But here's the thing Jake never saw. People don't love you based on your heart. They love you based on their capacity. And some people are limited. They love when it's easy. They stay when it's convenient. They give when it benefits them. It's not about you. It's about their wiring. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus said, "When you see a person acting in a way you hate, remember, they act according to their belief, not yours." Jake didn't need to stop caring. He just needed to stop assigning his character to people who hadn't earned it. And maybe, just like Jake, you're not broken. You're just tired of building connections on foundations that couldn't hold you. That changes today. Truth number 1. Most people love you conditionally. They loved you when you smiled, when you gave, when you said yes, when you were convenient. But the moment you slowed down, set boundaries, needed something for yourself, they vanished, and it hits you hard because you thought what you had was solid, real, unshakable. But here's the truth. Most people love you based on how easy you make them feel. Not who you are, not what you stand for, not your depth, loyalty, or truth. They love the version of you that doesn't challenge them, doesn't confront them, doesn't grow beyond their control. The Stoics saw this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you rise above the crowd, you should expect to be misunderstood." Translation: when you stop playing small, people start pulling back. When you stop overgiving, they call you distant. When you stop explaining yourself, they call you cold. But this isn't your cue to shrink again. It's your moment to stand still. Here's your shift. Stop trying to earn back love that was never unconditional. Start loving yourself so deeply you never confuse temporary comfort with true connection again. Try this. Next time someone withdraws because you set a boundary, say to yourself, "This isn't rejection, it's revelation." They didn't stop loving you. They stopped benefiting from the version of you that abandoned yourself to keep them happy. Let them go, because the love you deserve doesn't disappear when you finally choose yourself. Truth number 2, people will use your peace to escape their chaos. They come to you when they're falling apart, when life feels heavy, when they need someone steady, kind, calm, and you show up every time. You listen, you soothe, you hold space they never earned, but quickly expect. Then, like clockwork, as soon as they feel better, they fade, they stop replying, they get busy, they move on, and you're left with the silence and the ache, not just because they left, but because you thought it meant something more. Here's the truth. People don't always love you. Sometimes they love how they feel when they're around you. And that's different. You became their shelter, but they were never planning to stay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, not the attention of others." The Stoics didn't say don't help people. They said, know the difference between being a healer and being a host to people who never plan to grow. Here's your shift. Stop offering your peace to people who treat it like a pit stop. Start offering it first to yourself. Try this. When someone returns only when life breaks, ask, are they here for me or just for what I helped them escape? And if the answer feels heavy, you already know. You are not a rehab center for inconsistent hearts. You are not their place to land when the world gets hard. You are a sanctuary, and sanctuaries have boundaries. Stop renting out your peace to people who never pay in respect. Truth. 3. They will interpret your silence as weakness. You stop replying. You stop explaining. You stop chasing conversations that go nowhere. And suddenly, you're cold. You're childish. You're passive-aggressive. But here's what they don't understand. Silence isn't always a sign of defeat. Sometimes it's the final form of self-respect. You're not quiet because you don't have a voice. You're quiet because you've learned that some people only listen to create arguments, not to understand. You've learned that not every conversation deserves closure, that not every insult deserves a reaction. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and misunderstood." Meaning, let them think what they want. Let them call you weak. Let them misread your silence, because your peace is worth more than their approval. Here's your shift. Stop defending your silence. Start honoring it as your power. Try this. Next time they bait, you pause, breathe, ask, does this deserve a response or just release? And if it's release, let it go, because your silence isn't empty. It's filled with everything. You've chosen not to waste anymore. Time, energy, dignity. Some people won't understand your stillness because their power only exists in chaos. Let them stay noisy. You won't. Stay grounded. Truth number 4. Some people are only nice when they need something. They show up. Suddenly polite, curious, warm, after months of silence, after ignoring your messages, after making you feel invisible, and now they miss you. They value your energy. They hope you're doing okay. But here's what your gut already knows. They're not nice. They're needy. And the moment you serve the need, they disappear again. Because for some people, niceness is a tool, a key they use to unlock what they want without earning it. The Stoics warned us. Epictetus wrote, "Beware of flattery. It is the enemy's first weapon." Meaning, be kind, but not naive. Observe behavior, not just tone, not just timing, not just sudden sweetness. Here's your shift. Stop rewarding strategic kindness. Start recognizing patterns over performances. Try this. Next time someone reappears with compliments, ask, "Where were they when I needed nothing from them?" And let that answer guide your response. Because some people don't want you, they want access. Access to your calm, to your presence, to your energy. But your energy isn't a free buffet. Being kind doesn't mean being available to everyone who knocks with a smile. Protect your peace, even from polite manipulation. Truth number 5. People will project their unhealed pain onto you. You speak calmly. They say you're cold. You set a boundary. They say you're selfish. You pull away from drama. They call you fake, distant, too good. But deep down, you feel it. This isn't really about you, it's about them. Their abandonment, their fear, their unresolved past, looking for a target. And you just happened to be the mirror. Here's the Stoic truth. People don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. Epictetus said, "When someone insults you, don't imagine what." They said, imagine what kind of person could say it. That changes everything, because suddenly you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start wondering, what wounds are they trying to hide? Here's your shift. Stop internalizing their pain. Start recognizing what isn't yours to carry. Try this. When criticism feels unfair, pause and ask, is this about me, or is this about their history trying to survive through me? Because most people don't hate you. They hate the part of you that reminds them of what they never healed. And your job? Not to fix them, not to absorb it, not to fight back, just to stand still, in your peace, in your clarity, in your choice. You are not a dumpster for emotional debris. Let their projections stay with them. You've got enough truth of your own to carry. Truth number 6. Some people get offended by your healing. You start setting boundaries. You speak with more clarity. You stop over-explaining. You choose rest over chaos, peace over performance, and suddenly, they say you've changed. You're distant. You're cold. You think you're better. But what they really mean is, you're no longer stuck where I left you. And that threatens them, because your healing reminds them they haven't started theirs. Your calm highlights their chaos. Your growth makes their excuses louder. But the Stoics warned us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you rise above offense, you rise above control." Here's your shift. Stop apologizing for becoming the version of you that can breathe again. Start accepting that not everyone will celebrate your evolution. Try this. Every time someone gets offended by your boundaries, peace, or silence, say to yourself, "My healing is not an attack, it's a return." A return to balance, to clarity, to the version of you that doesn't trade self-respect for shallow acceptance. Because here's what you must remember. They miss the old you, not out of love, but out of comfort. The old you didn't challenge their dysfunction. The healed you doesn't tolerate it. Let them be offended. You're not here to shrink. You're here to shine. And if your peace feels loud to them, that's a sign they're still living in noise. Truth number 7, not everyone deserves access to you. You answer. Every message, you make space for every apology, you explain yourself, even when you owe no one clarity, and it drains you, because no matter how open you are, how understanding you try to be, some people just they take your time, your calm, your compassion, and give little in return, except more confusion. But here's the Stoic truth. Access to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you, not people who drain you, use you, blame you for their chaos, then resent you for your peace." Here's your shift. Stop assuming availability in kindness. Start practicing selective presence. Try this. Every few weeks, ask, who has access to my energy without offering equal respect? And pull back, not with malice, but with wisdom. Because when you give unlimited access to people who see you as a convenience, you teach them that your peace is cheap. It's not. It was earned through years of unlearning, through battles you faced alone, through boundaries you finally built. So protect it, not out of fear, but out of deep self-regard. Your heart is a sacred space, not a public sidewalk. Not everyone gets in, and that's not cold. It's clarity. Truth number 8. Some will try to shame you back into smallness. You speak up. They call you dramatic. You walk away. They say you're selfish. You succeed. They say you changed. And what they really mean is, you're no longer easy to manipulate. Because once you stop over-apologizing, over-functioning, over-giving, you become harder to control. So what do? They shame you with guilt, with sarcasm, with silence. They make your growth feel like betrayal, your boundaries feel like punishment, your power feel like ego. But here's the Stoic truth. Guilt isn't always a sign of wrongdoing. Sometimes it's a sign that you're breaking a pattern meant to keep you small. Epictetus wrote, "If you wish to be free, do not value what lies outside your control." And their opinions, their discomfort, their fragile egos, that's not your responsibility. Here's your shift. Stop shrinking to soothe others. Start standing tall, even when they flinch at your light. Try this. Every time someone tries to shame you back into who you were, say, "That version of me no longer takes requests," and walk. No lecture, no fight, no defense, because their discomfort isn't a sign you're wrong. It's a sign you finally stopped playing the role they wrote for you, and that role was never yours to keep. You weren't born to fit in their script. You were built to write your own. Truth 9. People will try to guilt you for choosing peace. You stop arguing, you stop reacting, you stop explaining your every move, and suddenly you're distant. You've changed. You don't care anymore. But what they really mean is, you're no longer addicted to the same chaos I am. They miss the version of you that got angry, that chased, that defended every word, like your worth was on trial, but now you breathe, you observe, you let things go without needing to win. And for people who live in drama, your peace feels like abandonment. But here's what the Stoics teach. Peace isn't passive, it's power under control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." Here's your shift. Stop feeling guilty for protecting what you built. your calm, your stillness, your clarity. Start realizing that peace is not only a choice, it's a boundary. Try this. When someone tries to provoke guilt for your silence, your joy, your healing, say to yourself, "My happiness is not a threat, it's a standard." And hold it. Because some people only feel secure when you're unsettled, and when you rise above the emotional traps, you no longer play the part they wrote for you. If your peace makes them uncomfortable, let them go find comfort somewhere else. Truth. 10. Some people only return to see if they still have access. It's been weeks, months, maybe even years, and then you see the name, the message, the just checking in. Suddenly your heart stirs, your mind spins. Why now? Do they miss me? Did they finally change? But here's what experience whispers. Some people don't return to love you again. They return to see if you still let them in. Not because they've grown, not because they regret, but because they're bored, lonely, curious, because you, your energy, your care, your access, used to be easy. And now that you've reclaimed it, they want to test if you really meant it. The Stoics would not be surprised. Epictetus said, "When a door has been closed for good reason, it should not be opened by impulse." Here's your shift. Stop reading into the message. Start remembering the reason you closed the door in the first place. Try this. Next time they reach out, ask, "Would I still want them if I had never been hurt?" Because pain distorts nostalgia and silence creates fantasy. But reality, that's your responsibility to hold, so hold it. Don't flirt with chaos just because it dressed up in new words. Don't open the door just because they knocked. You didn't heal just to repeat the test. Let them wonder, let them knock. You're busy choosing peace, not reliving old noise. You don't need to be colder. You don't need to trust less. You don't need to harden your heart just to survive people. You just need to see them clearly for who they are, for what they're capable of, for what they've already shown you. Because the Stoics never told us to hate others, they taught us to expect less, so we could suffer less, to respond with clarity, not chaos, with distance, not drama, with boundaries, not bitterness. So, here's your challenge. Which truth hit you hardest today? And what boundary will you set because of it? Drop it in the comments. It doesn't have to be perfect, just real, just honest, just yours. You owe no one access, no one explanations, just your peace, fully protected. Because when you stop needing people to change, you start becoming the one who has. That's stoic, that's strength, that's you, now.